and the bell tolls. Hello YouTube. As you can guess, this is going to be an unboxing of my new mower. You probably already know by the description of what it is. That gives you a hint. Got these XL Industries, like 2 keys. And let's take a look at it. Wait a minute. Tell you what, I'm going to insert something in the video talking about the other mowers that I had looked at. Alright guys, this is Master MCP back on the computer here. It'd just be easier for me to discuss this stuff, you know, with the actual brochures here. I can show you what I've saw. I did actually go to all the dealers that I could to see these machines and test drove them. And like I said earlier, these 4 out of my top 5, they're all fantastic mowers. I'm not saying not to get one, they're all great, but I'm just going to tell you some things I was looking for that I liked or didn't like on the mower. And this is about the price range I was looking for, around $4 grand. Alright, so here we go. Number 5 was obviously John Deere. Nothing runs like a deer. And John Deere's, I'm not going to talk much about its reputation. It's a good company. This was the model I was looking for, the Easy Track. What was it? Yeah, the 425, 54-inch deck, 22 horsepower. I want to say that John Deere's usually been coupled up with a Kawasaki designed engine, but I've known for them to put on Briggs engines. It's one of the fastest mowers I looked at, 8.5 miles per hour, which that's not really important to me. Let's take a look here. Expand, there's the engine. Again, probably of Kawasaki design. At least I think that's what it is. It looks like it anyway. And you know, I like don't really know about that wash system. That wasn't really a selling point for me. A lot of accessories. I really like the website too. It's got a very, very good detailed website. I like the adjustments on that. Of course, all of them pretty much got the hydraulics here. Let me see here. Right, there's the difference between the lower model, which I was starting to look out for, the $299 model, against the heavier model, which is around the $4,000 range. That's the difference. You can tell one's much heavier, beefier. Let me see here. Go through these pages. Here's had an hour meter, electric PTO. I'm assuming that's for lights if you add to it. And then it had, you know, the gas and the key. I like it because it came with an engine shroud. I do like that. And it's a good looking mower, and it rode and drove fine. But what is it that I didn't like? I didn't like the small tires in the back as far as width. The frame to me seemed a little small as far as just bulk and size. And the main thing itself was the deck. I don't know why they don't use prefab decks, but it was just a stamped deck on it. So I was kind of going for more of the prefab deck on one, and it was you know, not really that big of a deal, but it was important enough for me to say, I may look at something else. The transmissions on it are not the hydro gear, and I can't remember what they're called, turf something. Let me see. Here's the transmission. Yeah, turf torque. That's it. Which they are reliable and durable. But I've heard that it's kind of hard to get parts for them. And anytime you're buying stuff for a John Deere, it's going to be expensive. No doubt. No doubt. That's where you can see the fuel at. But anyway, so again, that's why I didn't go for the John Deere. Pretty much for the deck and the transmissions, I didn't know enough about them. So I said, I'll pass. fantastic mower other than that. Okay, just a little bitty gripes, no big deal. The next one, Gravely. Oh my goodness. Great color scheme, loved it. This was around the range of the $4,000, what I wanted to put into one. It had the Kohler 7000 Pro Series 52-inch cut. Okay, the reason why I didn't like this one, it has the EZT transmissions. That's the 2200 Hydro Gear EZT transmissions. A little bit less transmission power or strength than the ones I wanted. It does have a prefab deck. Great seat on it. It's set wonderful. But I've known from my own personal experience, I know a couple of guys that bought two of these high-end models and hated them. Just did not like them at all. Just didn't cut well. They had problems from the get-go, and I know one of them actually took his back and I think got a Dixie chopper. Which the reason that I didn't get a Dixie chopper is they're way too expensive. But I've heard some bad things about these guys and some good things. There's some good things out of them. If you got one and it's doing great service for you, that's awesome. I'm not here to run the company down. I'm sure they're a good company, but I was a little leery of putting my money into a mower that I'd known a couple of my friends had bad experiences from, so I didn't get it. Did not get that one. All right, let's go on to number 3. I think we're on, and this one was almost got it. Was the Husqvarna. Fantastic mower. Here's my favorite thing about it. Look, 5-gallon gas tank. It's awesome. The other ones had like 2.9 or 3. Huge gas tank. And it had the EZT 3100 Hydro Gear transmission. That is the lowest transmission you can get in a commercial series mower. And that's fantastic. And it had grease fittings all over it here. It has grease fittings here. It has it on the deck, which is fantastic as far as longevity. 54-inch cut. It's downsized to it. Basically, it was over $4,000, and that was not with the Kawasaki engine. If you want the Kawasaki, which is what I was kind of shooting for, it was around, I think, $100 extra bucks to get the Kawasaki, which is not that bad. I think the Kawasaki was around $4,300. The deck is 12 gauge, as where the Gravely was, I think, a 10 gauge metal. The FPMs on all of them were pretty much the same, and it rode and drove really well. It was really peppy. I remember that. All right, what I didn't like, or what is it that didn't, why I didn't buy one? And we have a dealer in the town that I live in. That's why I was really looking at one. Is I don't know if it's the way it's balanced from the front to back, per se. Whoops, I went to the wrong one. There's the, yeah, okay, sorry. From front to back, but it has, I've seen videos of it where it had problems. The back wheels would spin too much when you were trying to steer it, and it would tear the turf up pretty good. Now, if the, and I'm thinking that the weight of the mower itself, it probably needed to have the engine and the back end probably out to here and a little bit less on the front end, because if you've got too much weight on the front end, you're putting too much work on these back wheels, and if it's not balanced right, even an inch or so can make all the difference in the world. So Husqvarna probably needs to either move the axles up a little bit or move the actual mower back. Husqvarna, I don't know how to pronounce it. I guess it's Husqvarna. Other than that, man, I almost got this one, and it was a nice mower. Very peppy mower. Okay, so obviously I didn't get it, but still, man, what a beast. Nice looking mower. Stamp deck. You know, I didn't want to cut that corner. I wanted a prefab deck on it. I know it may be silly, but I did want that prefab deck. and they just use on that model stamped decks. Anywho, number 2. Yeah, when I started out looking for mowers, this was the one I was looking at. Just the $3,000 model. And I could have bought this last summer. And I really liked it because it came with a prefab deck. And it was Cub Cadet. That's what I'm coming from. That's what I had for many, 15 years or so. Good mower. Probably would have been fine for my yard if that's all I was using it for, but I'm not. This is the mower that I went to, and I started looking around a little bit, and I was like, well, what's the difference between these models? Well, when I looked at them, where's it at? Right here. Look at this. $800 more. That's it. You got a beefier frame, a beefier deck, bigger transmissions. I want to say the engine was up by horsepower. And man, I almost got this one. Almost got it. And could have bought this one this summer earlier. I really, really, really liked it. But here's some things I didn't like. All the mowers I've showed you, the decks, when they raise up, they have a 4-point system. Alright, the Cub Cadet has a kind of a rear system, and it pivots on these rods here, and that's it. I didn't really much care for that, and I didn't like it because it had a hand weight on it, or a hand up and down on it as far as the deck adjustment. I wanted a foot pedal because you can control it while you're driving. You can hit that deck and it'll go up. Your hands never have to leave the handlebars. I didn't much like the styling here. I mean, I know that's a silly point, but you do want a good looking mower. I mean, come on. So I decided not to get this one. All of them had cup holders, I'm glad to say. And the seat was kind of a low grade seat. To get the Kohler model, let me see, how much was it? Where's the Kohler at? There it is. Look at that. I mean the Kawasaki motor, sorry. And the better seat. Look at that, gosh. So I lean towards that one the most. For $3,800, man, that's not bad. And these casters were huge. They're just about as big as any I looked at. I did like it because it was on a frame, a tube frame. I did like that. And it had the 2800 series transmissions on it. And the difference between the 2800 Hydro Gear is the biggest transmission you can get on a residential model mower. And I really, really was kind of shooting for that because I wanted to buy something and not have to worry about working on it. I mean, other than the maintenance on them. And it's heavy. It was the heaviest mower I looked at. It's 740 pounds. That's on up there. But anyway, I need to get back to showing you the mower. That was my top 4 pick, guys. And I'll see you down there in just a second. All right. Now that we're back, let's take a look at the mower. Oops. Get this undone. This undone. And there she is. Whoops, get off me, door. That is the Raptor SD. The logo I put on the front, the little apple thing. I had just gotten this, and this is a video. It's not a review or anything. This is just going to go over why I picked this mower over the other 4 that were earlier mentioned in the video. I got the 54-inch cut. Kawasaki engine. And I haven't cut anything with it yet. I've had it for 3 or 4 days. I've just been busy at work. And now that I've got a free Saturday, finally, which that won't last very long because my Saturdays are fixed to be taken up. Oh my goodness. I am going to cut this yard. So, yeah, I expected to do well for the first while, being that it's brand new. But a buddy of mine does mow commercially and work at a MTD plant. He puts the Cub Cadets together. He said, ride it like it's been stolen. He said, you know, don't be stupid with it or anything, but ride it fairly hard to see if there's any flaws in it. But yeah, I've driven around a little bit. It has no trouble moving me. And that's one reason why I got the bigger model than the regular Raptor Apple Edition. But it is a good looking mower. That's one reason why I bought it, just because, you know, you gotta look stylish while you cut the grass. I mean, come on. And the mower is something that's very important. Made in the USA, hustler. Actually built by Mennonites, I believe, or at least the company was started by Mennonites. Back in the 60s, I believe a guy built the mower for his wife to cut the grass. I think, if I read the story right. Of course, that could have been totally fabricated. But let's go ahead and get this thing started. This will be a cold start. You don't have to sit in the seat as long as these are out. You can just start it from anywhere. So I'll start from the side here. So it has, I don't know if you can see it or not, .8 hours. 0.8 hours. So let's choke it just slightly and see if we can start it. Choke it all the way. Longest wheels on this thing. What I like about it, safety brake is off. This thing, a little bit better view, and let's talk about why I picked this one. Believe me, this is not a review. I may do another video next year once I've gotten at least 20 or 30 hours on it. Give you an update on it. Let me start from the beginning to the end of the mower, or why I picked it. Reason number one, the big casters it had on it. I mean, look how thick that metal is. I think that's a 3/8 of an inch thick caster on there. Some of the largest wheels on there. The more surface area, the more distribution of the weight on the ground. So I didn't want to rut up a yard or anything if it does get wet or something like that. Sealed bearings, which I kind of, on the Husqvarna, I did like that you can grease it, but I've heard that these are pretty dependable. Nice big frame here. Made in America, very important. well, you know, Kawasaki engine, but it is made in America. Big 54-inch cut, nice big foot weld. I was looking for one with a foot level up and down on it. To use it, you just push your foot and you lift this up and let it down, and that's it. And then your deck is down, ready to cut. And so, like, if you wanted to, if you're going along and you're done, you just watch your L cage and it's up. That's all there is to it. Yeah, I know the shoes are bad. I need to get my sneakers for cutting. Another thing, one of the main reasons why, besides the front end just being so big, and the Husqvarna had a big front end on it as well, and I really liked it, and so did the Cub, is the deck. This is a prefab deck. I think the front, this bead, this 3/8 bead, which is the same as this right here, is put all the way around the deck, and it's almost a 1/2 inch thick. It's got 3 anti-scalping wheels, one here, one there, and then, well, one right there. These are completely sealed. I mean, well, not, you can get into here. There is no access, you have to drop the deck. I'm not really favored about that. I know the Husqvarna, I think the John Deere had it where you could lift this up. I think on the fast track you can too. Another reason why I like this deck is because some of the prefab decks that I saw were kind of boxy, but I like this one because it follows the contour of the blade on this side. This is what I call the trimming side of your mower, not the other side obviously because you have the chute, but this is the side that you're going to be trimming around houses and trees and stuff like that. And I like to know where the blade is cutting at. So that's why I did this, or got this one. The other decks I saw were kind of, you know, had a big box area here, and you can't really tell where the blade is. You just have to guess. You can't really, you know, get real close to stuff. And also, what I loved about this deck is it had this 4-point system. There should be one right there, yeah. And there's 2 on the other side. And I think I talked about it earlier about the Cub Cadet. Not only does it have a 4-point system, I don't know if you can see this, but it's also held up by these right here. You know, this big thing on the front. I think this is kind of like a stabilizer. So it's almost got 6 points as far as it being held up. Plenty strong. Plenty strong. So the deck was a plus. That's another reason why I got it. Talked about styling. Let me show you underneath here. You got your battery and your reservoir, which has been filled. They checked it at the dealer, and I checked everything too. That was one of the first things when I got home, is I checked everything and looked and see if anything was loose or not where it should be. Fuel tank's here. It kind of actually goes over here, believe it or not, and goes back this way. Your fuel level's like right here. I don't know if you can see that or not. I hope you can. Most of these YouTube videos, I can't tell. The ever so popular cup holder. You gotta have that. This is one thing I love about these newer mowers. Nice, big tank cover. I love that. I like the storage. Feel like you're driving, you see some trash on the field or whatever. Got one over here. Now this mower had the 2800 transmissions on it, which I talked about that earlier in the video. Very strong transmissions, the strongest you can get in a residential mower, which is very cool. That's another reason why I wanted with the Kawasaki engine. Originally I wanted the Kohler, but I've heard, you know, good things about Kohler and some bad. I've heard about mainly good from Kawasaki. I know people have some trouble out of them, but it's usually the contractor's choice of engine. And I've talked to several mechanics that work on them, and they prefer the Kawasaki too. But that doesn't speak for everybody. It's just the majority of them I talk to. That must be the fuel pump or something. Yeah, because there's a little like a screen, I guess, for a breather hose. Fuel filter starter right there. All your safety warning stuff down there. I don't know if you can see that or not. There's the oil filter and the oil drain. Hope you guys can see that. Let's get under this thing. Here's the massive exhaust. There's your PTO. There's the back side of the deck. There's that transmission. And that's one reason why these mowers are so expensive, these ETR mowers, because you know, you're buying a mower with 2 transmissions in it, not just one. So essentially you're almost buying 2 mowers, hence why they cost twice as much. And I hope that lasts long. My PTO, my Cup Cadet, I never had any problems out of it. All right, that's how you disengage that one. That's how you disengage that one. And there's the 2800 series serviceable. Some filters. I don't know if you can see the filters. It's got an oil style filter there, and one on this side as well. And you change them, I think, in the what's the first 20 hours or 70, 50, somewhere around there. I need to reread it. And there's a brace, kind of a bumping brace that when you bolt these transmissions together. I'm sure there's a lot of torque force when you're driving it. You go one way and one goes the other, so you gotta. That's a big thick piece of metal too. Yeah, it's not going anywhere. There's your bowl and carburetor. It looks like your fuel shutoff valve, electronic. Here's the throttle and stuff. I do have me a shroud ordered for this. I'm gonna put on to protect the back of the engine. I mean, come on, you spend $4,000 on a mower. You know, spend an extra $70 and protect your engine. You don't realize if you're not used to these ETRs how much more of the back end you got. You could back into stuff, you know, damage it. If it's, you know, above the bumper, somewhere in this area, you can hit all this stuff. And I looked these engines up online, just the engine alone. Not that you would ever like completely damage the whole engine. It's $1,500. Just the engine alone. So no, I want to try to keep up with it if I can and take care of it. The seat, this is the 54-inch, and it comes with the armrest, and it's not bad. I may opt next year and get the more plush seat for it, because I've sat on it and it was really nice on the 60-inch model. Let's see what else. Well, oh, one thing I almost forgot. The main reason why I got what was the straw or the pebble that tipped the scales in the favor of the Hustlers, and it was the tires. This model has the widest tires on any model that I was looking at. Let me show you the rear stance of this thing. I mean, look at that. It's freaking wide. And the ZTR mower, you've got, you know, it's all about traction on the steering. It's like on hills and grades, on slopes and stuff, which I do have at my parents' house. I didn't buy it for this yard, obviously, not this little old thing. I mean, in my yard, but, you know, I don't want the question of lack of traction. I don't think I'm gonna get it in this mower. I think it's gonna be fine. And that wasn't the main thing. I didn't look for mowers because their tire size, I can't talk. But it was the last thing, the last check off on the list of stuff to get as far as what I wanted in a mower. Raptor. That's my mower. I might do a before and after. Well, there's the before, do an after cutting video. But I gotta change the oil in my wife's van. Yep. Honey-do projects first, guys. You know that. Anyway, this is Master MCP signing out. Thanks for watching. End of line.